which
Niels.
was. Huh?
I had a dream you closed someone.
Huh?
I had a dream you closed someone.
He had a dream that he closed him. It's not going to be a
Right.
dream any longer, mate.
Yeah. Right. So I needed to close that belief.
Okay,
because,
what was the belief?
he said that he didn't sleep well, and that's the thing stopping him from being consistent in the gym. He goes there like 1 or 2 times every week.
Okay. What's causing him to not sleep well?
That's all I actually did.
What was that? Not training. He said when he trains, he sleeps better. So I said to him,
Okay.
all right. So how long has that been going on? And he said for 10 years.
10 years?
Damn, 10 years. That's a long time. And I like went deep into that. Like, how has that been? Not being able to sleep well for 10 years, blah blah. And then when he said that that's the thing stopping him from training, I was like, alright, well, is it fair for you to say that? I don't know what the first question was when he's come up with that belief was, but I went into, is it fair for you to say that your sleep is stopping you from training, but it's the same cycle that's stopping you from, now I get things mixed up, but
You're
is
good.
it fair to you to say that you can't train because you don't get enough sleep, but it's the same cycle stopping you from not getting enough sleep?
Yeah. So look at it, right? Like, he sleeps better when he trains, but
Yeah.
he's not training because he doesn't sleep well.
Yeah.
So what is the actual problem then? Is it down to the fact that he doesn't sleep well, or is it down to the fact that he doesn't train?
Doesn't train.
Okay. So then in that point of the conversation, you need to understand what is stopping him from going and training. It's fine if you didn't get that, but did you get that in the conversation?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay, that's fine. Well, that's definitely what, like, if somebody says something like that, which you will often get, then the idea is to help them understand, like, that he says that he's not sleeping, that's his excuse. Not sleeping well, that's why he's not training. But he sleeps better when he trains. Then, ultimately, the problem is that he's not training. And the reason that he's not training is because of what? Because of doesn't have enough time, is probably what you're going to get, doesn't have nowhere to start, all of the external stuff that we've covered before.
Now I remember. He said that, so when I put the sleep out of the equation, he said it was because of his situation. He moved back home to his mom.
Yeah.
And
how old is he?
He was like 38. Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
And he said that was the thing stopping him. He said when I get my own place again, it will be a lot, I don't know, easier to go to the gym.
Why is that though?
I don't remember. I don't even know if I asked that question because I should have definitely asked that.
Doesn't that just sound like a bunch of bullshit to you though?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
okay, well, then you can hit him with the reframe of like, well, do you feel like there are people out there who have a worse situation than you but still maintain a great physique?
I think I asked that question. Actually.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask why would a new place make it easier for you.
Yeah, because then he's gonna. Well, yeah. I mean, there's no other reason as to why. Like maybe his mum's cooking, but like he's 38 years old. He can cook himself.
He's a kid as well. So.
Yeah, he has a kid as
Yeah.
well. Fucking hell.
He doesn't work right now. He's for over a year's time. He has been. What's it called?
Procrastinating.
No, he's like sick.
Like on benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So he went into that as well, and he said that that's because of the sleep. Yeah, we got pretty deep actually.
Okay.
It was good.
Well, it's good that you got deep. It's signs of like holding a good conversation. Look at it in a different way for a sec, bro. Like, if you don't, you can get deep, but if you don't, having a deep conversation with someone is effectively pointless if they don't understand what it is that's causing them to be in the position that they're in.
Mm.
And so he's saying that it's down to his mum's. Why is he even moving back into his mum? Because of him. Why is he not training? Because of him. He's got a kid. What type of mindset does he want to give his kid? That stuff is so powerful, bro. When people start bringing up their children, like, how old's your son? 10. What's his name? Oscar. Okay, Oscar. Not Oscar. But like, let's say that, and then this reframe is fucking fire. You're like, let's say that Oscar came to you. He was in a bit of like shit financially. Didn't really know. He said that he couldn't train because he's not sleeping well, but he also knows that he sleeps better when he trains. But he told you that he was stuck in a situation where he's feeling like shit, he's got no confidence, whatever else he said. What would you tell him to do? I'd tell him to go and train. Why would you tell him to do that? Because I know that that's going to help him, okay. Do you want to hold yourself to the same standard as you'd hold your son? Would you agree that as a father, as a male role model in your son's life, that you're going to have to lead yourself first, yeah? And then
slaps.
yeah, and he's going to be like, yeah, I do agree. Like, why do you agree with that though? Because my dad never done it to me, or whatever the fuck he's going to say. Okay, well, just because your dad didn't do that to you, do you want this same cycle to repeat to your son, to Oscar? No, why not? And imagine when Oscar's 38 years old, the same age as you. What position will he be in if you continue to think and act and make decisions in the same way that you are now? He's going to be fucked. Why? How is he going to be fucked? Get him to paint this picture of his son repeating his exact same life.
Yeah.
No parent wants that. If they're like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is a huge leverage point and fucking anchor that you can just pin him down with and literally beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, I need to write that down. I'll do it.
It's all recorded anyway. It's on Loom, so the quality should be good, audio-wise. But yeah, like the idea behind that, bro, is like, I said it to Ned on there on the call a second ago. Like, people, would you agree or disagree with the fact that people are normally better at giving others advice rather than taking it on themselves?
Yeah.
So the reason that you bring in the third party is because he's going to give all of this advice that he'd give someone else, and you make them realise that they're not taking their own advice.
Yeah.
They're not holding themselves to the standard that they'd hold others up. And so it ends up being a bit of a therapy session. Fitness schools always are. And so then, like, just even that alone, I feel like that's enough leverage to make a sale, to be honest.
Yeah.
When you get, what part of the call do you feel that you struggled with the most?
I think if first of all, I had a stronger intro, more like
Energy.
sort of energy,
Yeah.
and would be a little bit more skeptical, had that tone. I would probably get more like better answers. It felt like it was like more of an attack.
Yeah.
Like pretty aggressive, and also like first of all, I shouldn't even have let him take the call because he was outside on his phone.
Yeah.
With just earplugs in, losing his concentration all the time. He went on the train, people came on and so.
What the hell? Yeah, definitely never take a call like that.
Yeah. So I shouldn't have taken that and just reschedule it. I think that would be something that's, the call would just get better. Let's see what I do.
Why would it get better though?
Well, because he would be more concentrated. Like, he wouldn't be losing.
How would he see you differently if you had taken those steps?
First of all, he would see me as he would see me as my time is valuable.
Yeah.
And he would see me as a fucking coach, basically.
Yeah.
Not just
as a fucking authority, right?
Yeah.
Like he would see you as the fucking boy, basically. All right, that's Nils. Fuck, I can't fuck around. I can't give him shit answers.
Yeah.
And he was opening up to all of this deep shit about you on the train as well.
Yeah.
Madness.
And but I felt that he, at sometimes especially when he went on the train. Before he went on the train, he talked a little bit more. But when he went on the train, it felt like he didn't want the other people to hear him talk about his own stuff. So it was really like short answers all of a sudden, and yeah.
Well, this is the problem that you'll get if you don't let before the call. Always, I don't know if you guys do at the moment, but definitely make sure that they're aware that they need to be sat down in a quiet place, ready to take the call. Do you know what I mean? Like phone or laptop's fine, doesn't really matter. But yeah, like pre-frame the call with like the pre-call process of like text them, send them a voice note, send them a Loom video, whatever, and then be like, you need to be in a quiet place, ready to sit down and actually get to the bottom of this. Otherwise, I'm not going to take the call. And then if they turn up driving, if they turn up like, don't take those calls, bro.
I had one of those yesterday. I rescheduled him.
Yeah, good.
First of all, he was like 10 minutes late. Then he texted me, "I'm coming now into the meeting. I'm stuck in some fucking roundabout."
Yeah.
I was like, "No, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not taking it."
Yeah.
So
Good. I would just call them up and be like, do you often, if you have the same approach, give them a bit of a slap, right? Like, if you have the same approach to your fitness as you've had to this call, do you feel like you're going to be successful? No, okay, like that's not me being a dick, but like why not? Okay, and so what type of approach would you need to have if you were going to be successful? You need to be up on time, this is, okay. Well, what we're going to do then is we're going to reschedule this. If you don't turn up on time, I'm not going to take it personally. I won't take the call then, and that will be your last chance. Then they're going to, like, they're either going to fucking turn up on the ball, on the fucking minute. Like, don't be pissed off if they turn up a couple of minutes late, for example. If it's like 2 past the hour and the call's booked to the hour, fine. But anything more than 5 minutes, be like, fuck.
yeah,
Not even serious about it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So, that's what I would say, bro. Definitely. Just because it holds your authority and shit like that.
yeah,
When you get to the fact that, for example, with this guy who was on the train, if he's not training, you need to understand why. He probably doesn't believe in something, in his ability to get fit or into shape. What was he? Was he 193 centimeters and like 93 kilos? That guy.
What was this guy? No, I think it was like he just wanted to lose like 7 kilos. He was like 83,
And how tall?
179.
So he's like my height. Well, he's a little bit taller than me, man. Like taller than me. And he wants to only get down to 75. Was he like fat?
He didn't look fat.
No.
He said like the number isn't that important. He wants to build some muscle and just feel more better about himself, enjoy life.
Okay. Well, the number's not important because he hasn't attached a number to his goal, basically. And so that's why you go in at this level 2 first, because you're like, boom, okay, what is the biggest motivator behind you wanting to get into fitness right now? Provokes the emotional response, rather than I just want to be in better shape and be healthy. Well, I want to be healthy. Like, why is that a motivator to you though? Then they're going to be like, well, it's a motivator to me because of X, Y, Z. Okay. Well, what weight do you need to be at in order to be there? Do you know what I mean? And then it's a slightly different twist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because then you're like coming into the call, boom, and like you're just questioning their exact same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It takes away their bullshit emotional logistical response, and it also means that they're going to be able to give you so much more source for you to go off. When you get to the point of why they haven't done it, then when they give you the internal stuff, like, you want to be able to stretch the gap. So for example, if I want to be healthy, they're like, okay, well what about being healthier is going to change your life? it means I'm going to have more energy, da da da. And so when they give you like a buzzword, an emotion, or a surface level answer, you can stretch the gap by one, getting them to understand the difference behind that buzzword. Healthier, confidence, energy. What about your life is going to change when you start to get more confidence? What about your life is going to change when you're healthier? What about your life is going to change once you get more energy? Okay.
I have a question that I asked on Discord. It's
Go on.
what would more energy allow you to do that you can't do right now?
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
Stretching, perfect. Stretching question. And then once they give you that answer, you then ask like leaning out questions like why not, how so, what makes you feel that way, is there any particular reason as to why you feel that is the case? Because when you act skeptical of somebody, they want to disprove you being skeptical of them. So you're like, okay, why do you want to be healthier then? So they're like, are you sure? Like, kind of like if your girl was to start like telling you that she wants to go on like a McDonald's only diet, you'd be like, are you sure? Are you fucking crazy? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, that's the kind of approach you want to have when like leaning out, and you just get enough of a gap. Like you press on the buzzwords that they say, because they're just telling themselves this. They don't even like a lot of the time they don't even know what they mean, and this is the whole reason as to why they're in this fucking shit position.
Yeah.
And so you stretch the gap with them so much. Now it's like, okay, because then when you start to go into like, well, in your own opinion, if you want to be confident because you can be the best dad for your son, you can show him all of this stuff. Like, why do you feel like this hasn't happened yet? Well, I feel like it hasn't happened because I didn't have enough knowledge, and you know how to do that anyway. Like, you didn't have enough knowledge because of what? Because I didn't know where to start. Okay, and you didn't know where to start because of because I am not starting. Okay, well, what's causing you to hesitate on not starting? Oh, I just don't believe that I can do X, Y, Z. But would it be fair to say then that it's not down to the fact that you don't know where to start? It's down to the fact that you're not starting because you're being a little bitch, basically, yeah? And then you can push on that and be like, okay, well, how long? You're right, bro. You want to sit in? Yeah? Getting the one-to-one in-person coaching. You want to be like, what's stopping you from starting? And then once they give you this, like, what you want to understand at the point as the closer is like what internal limitations they have, how long they've had them, like the time frame on those limitations, right? Then you want to understand how those internal limitations have impacted their progression. And so when you've understood those 3 points, you can now draw an emotion out of that. So I've been inconsistent for 2 years because I don't believe that I can be successful. Okay, well, saying that out loud, what emotions do you experience? Saying that now, looking back on the last 2 years, realising that your inconsistency has led you to where you are today.
Yeah, that's also fucking.
Yeah, it's like a little funnel, like a little fucking sequence of questions, basically.
One question I have, like, what do you say when people just say, I don't know, if you ask like the consequence question, for example, I don't know, if they, like, what will that look like in 2 years, if you ask the consequence question, and they reply, I don't know, what do you say then?
You don't know. Be like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
No, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Do you feel like that's why you've allowed yourself to settle for so long? Because every time you always focus on like what you can do versus what happens if you do nothing. Fuck, yeah. Because these people, if they genuinely don't know, they haven't thought of it, and that's what causes people to not do anything. Because they don't understand the cost of inaction. You can even explain this to people, right? Like, as I'm explaining it to you now. You say, have you ever heard of the term cost of inaction? Do you know what I mean by that? It's fine if you don't, by the way. Like, don't, like, try not to make them feel like a dumbass, because it's more like a sales term. The cost of inaction means that when you don't act, you then pay a price, essentially. Now, my question to you is, what is the cost of inaction, of you continuing to give in to these feelings of frustration, inconsistency, and this lack of belief for the next 2 years. You can even say for the next 6 months if you want to make it short, or the next year. And if you're savvy enough about it, they're obviously gonna. Well, what would you answer to that question if I asked you that? Would there be any way that you can escape that? Like genuinely, would there give me anything and I'll just see if there's like a way that I can fucking. So if you told me that you don't know and I'm like, okay, Niels, have you ever heard of the term cost of inaction before? It's fine if you haven't, by the way.
No, I haven't.
Okay. The cost of inaction means that when you don't act, there's a price. And what I mean by that is every time that you don't take a step to be consistent, to be the best dad for your kids, that is ultimately leaving an impact of what?
Yeah, I guess you can't say I don't know again. But
Or even if you did say I don't know, it's like, well, I'm going to give you permission to think about this right now. It's such a strong question to ask. Like, I'm going to give you permission to think about this right now because it's already been 2 years and you thought nothing. So would it be fair to say that if you continue to not think about what happens if you do nothing, then you're going to end up in the same cycle? Yes. Do you want to stay in the same cycle? No. So when do you feel is the best time to actually start considering the reality of the situation so that you can actually take a step towards who you want to be? Today. Are you sure? It's uncomfortable. Okay. So what does that actually look like if you continue to be a shit dad, one that doesn't put his foot forward for his kid, one that doesn't move out of his mum's house and continues to be on benefits because he blames everything externally? Yeah, my life's going to look terrible, but why is it going to look terrible? And you lean back out, right? Like every time that you ask like a strong question, always back it up with why, because they will then sell you on their answers. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because two things happen at a call. You either close them or they close you. You can't be letting non-sales people close you, bro. Like you're a fucking closer. Do you know what I mean? And so you have to get them to sell you through the whole call.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the call, you don't even need to sell. It's effortless close. So yeah, that's how I would do that. If they say that, I don't know. And that's also why you want to get emotion in those like in that limitation phase, because when you do, if they say, oh, it will just be the same as I have now. So, well, what happens to that feeling of frustration if you continue to do nothing? I wouldn't even necessarily say like it's gonna. Been thinking about this. Like saying the better, the same, or worse for me, just generally feels like I'm trying to lead them to an answer. But if you ask them like, well, what actually happens to that emotional frustration if you do nothing? I don't think anybody would say that that's going to stay the same. Or you can say, knowing that the emotion, how did you feel 2 years ago? I felt great. And now you feel how? Frustrated. And over those 2 years, how has that emotion been in terms of levels? It's increased. Okay, so if this continues for another 2 years, what's going to happen? It's going to increase. What does that look like when it increases? What emotions will you experience when that happens? Slam them down. Are you willing to settle for that? No. Why though? Because you already, like, with all due respect, you already have for the last 2 years. And this is not me not believing you. This is me helping you, holding you to a high standard. My laptop's going to die in a second. This is me helping you and holding you to a high standard to get you to where you want to go. Why are you not willing to settle for that? Okay, and who is responsible for being the best advocates to get themselves to 75 years? Me. Okay, so when do you feel is the best time to draw the line in the fucking sand and start committing to the future that you want to have? Are you fucking sure? Because this is not going to be easy, it's going to be uncomfortable, you're going to have to, like, be open to us holding you to a high standard. Then you follow that up with a question of like, well, are you willing to let me hold you to a high standard? Do you know why you'd ask that?
Yeah, because later on you can pin that back. Like, if they say something like I want to think about it as an objection,
Yeah.
you can then use that.
Absolutely.
Before you said
Mhm.
that I could hold you to a high standard.
Yeah.
Can I do that now?
Yeah.
Or before you gave me the permission to hold you to a high standard.
Mhm.
Should you do you then ask that? Can I do that now, or do you just?
I would just say, like, I know before when we spoke, like, I know that it's scary, by the way, and I know that's a big step. It's a commitment to yourself, right? More than anything else. And before you mentioned that you're happy for me to hold you at a high standard. So, I want to see you win. And for me to hold you at a high standard, is it fair of me to let you go away and think about this? Even though, the whole time, the whole reason why you're in the position that you're in today is because you're just thinking about things rather than taking action. Like, is that fair of me to let you go as a coach and even as a friend? No? Okay. Are you sure? Do you actually want to figure this out? If they say yeah, all guns blazing, bro. And so the objection handling is literally just a whole nother sales process, basically, but just a lot quicker. You wouldn't go into the whole thing. You just want to understand, again, the limitations that they have, how long they've thought that way, how long they've said that they think about decisions before they make a difference, like how thinking about things has actually impacted them, or whether they want to speak to their wife or their husband.
Can you role play? I want to think about it.
Of course.
With me one time.
Yeah. Hit me with it, bro.
I want to think about it.
I can understand and respect that, Niels. That's cool. I know before you mentioned, obviously, you were happy for me to hold you to a high standard. So I want to see you win. For me to do that, is it fair of me, as a coach, even as a friend, to let you go and think about this, even though for 2 years, would it be fair to say the whole position that we're in today is because we haven't taken action on the thoughts that we've had?
No, it's not fair. I just need to look some things up to make sure this will work for me.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, what things is it that you feel that you need to look up? Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So, like, don't worry about that. Like, I'm totally fine whatever you do. What is it that you feel that you need to look up and figure out so that whether you join this program or not, I don't know, but like, I wanted to ask you to help more than anything else, like, what are those things that you need to look up in order to feel confident enough to take a step in the direction where you want to go?
I guess it's just me making sure that I can commit to this,
And just before you go and do that, like, do you genuinely feel that what we've ran over can help you lose those 7 kilos to be the best dad that you want to be over the next 6 weeks?
yes, I do.
Why do you feel like it can?
Because of like literally all parts of the program, being held accountable, having that nutrition plan, training with others.
Okay. Well, why do you feel like that would be helpful for you, though?
Because then the first like couple of weeks who are the hardest will be much more fun, and I will probably make a routine out of it and keep training after these 6 weeks as well. I will have more knowledge about nutrition, training, motivation.
Okay. Well, when you say that you need to commit to it, we need to figure out whether you can commit to it. What do you feel would stop you from committing to be the best dad that you can possibly be for your kids?
I guess just having the energy to show up.
Okay. Go a little deeper, like, what do you mean by energy?
often tired, so
Mm.
if I feel tired, it will be hard for me to show up, and I need to get terms of that first.
Okay.
I
Well,
need to think about how to
okay.
terms with that.
What do you feel is going to be harder though? To continue to let yourself be tired so that you don't train? Or to start actually getting yourself into gear, back yourself, and make sure that you're in a position where you start to train harder? We hold you to a high standard so that you can get the energy that you need to be able to. In fact, where I would actually go with that, let me draw a line through that. So I'd say, okay, like how long have you been experiencing this tiredness?
10 years.
Okay. What do you feel is causing the tiredness?
Not training.
Okay. So what's causing you not to train?
Because I live at my mom's house now. I need to find a place to make it easier to.
Okay. Well, kind of like chicken and egg scenario, right? And what I mean by that is like, you can continue to tell yourself that shit won't change until you put yourself in a better position. Or you can be the type of person who takes control of his environment so that shit changes. Which one do you want to be?
Of course, I want to be the one who controls.
Why do you want to be that person?
Because otherwise, I'll just be here in 10 years again.
What does that look like if you're actually here in 10 years?
What do you mean?
Like, what does your life look like if you continue to be inconsistent because you're not training? You've put yourself, you're at your mum's house. Like, what does that look like if you just continue to be inconsistent?
Well, I'll probably not get back to work, and it will be harder and harder to provide for my son.
Well, with that being said then, what do you feel you need to let go of to actually start to put the steps in and be more of a consistent person so that you can provide for yourself?
The laziness, not let the tiredness.
But the tiredness is caused from what though? Because the tiredness just doesn't spring on you out of nowhere, right? Like you mentioned that the tiredness is caused from the lack of training, and the lack of training is caused from being in your mum's place. However, would you agree or disagree that there are people in a much worse environment than you are who have ultimately still maintained a fantastic physique?
I would agree, yes.
Okay, so would it be fair to say then that that can't be the problem?
Yes, it would.
Okay, so what is actually causing you to not go out and train?
Just procrastinating it.
And if we leave this call and you're still procrastinating on decisions, what are the chances of you actually getting a better outcome?
Well, bad chances.
What type of chances do you want of having a better outcome? An outcome where you provide for your son?
Good chances.
Okay. Would it be fair to say then that in order to get different chances, you would first need to input different decisions in order to get there though?
Yes.
Why would you say that? What makes you feel that way?
Well, I don't want to be here like in 6 months' time, so
Okay. Well, when it comes to taking the step then, knowing that you don't want to be here in 6 months, if you continue to make decisions in the same way, how likely are you to be in the same position in 6 months' time?
very likely. likely.
Okay. Do you want it to be very likely though?
No.
Okay. When do you feel is the best time to actually start making different decisions and draw a line in the fucking sand so that you can be the best version of you?
In a couple of weeks. Within a couple of weeks.
You feel like a couple of weeks is the best time to draw the line in the sand? How much longer do you want your son to suffer off the back of you procrastinating on your decisions?
Not anymore.
Or do you want him to wait another couple of weeks?
No, I guess not.
You guess not?
No.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
Well, since you put it that way, I feel like it's my responsibility to be there.
You feel like, or it is?
It is.
Okay. Knowing that it's your responsibility and step up for Oscar, your little boy, can you afford to let this go on for another 2 weeks?
No.
Don't just say that because it fits the conversation. Don't just say that because you think it's what I want to hear. Do you actually fucking mean that?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Well, because I can't wait a couple of weeks, because then it will turn into a couple of more weeks, and a couple of more weeks, and a couple more weeks.
But you can, and that's the easiest thing to do. And so, my question to you is, what decisions do you need to make right here, right now, to be able to actually take the step into the 2.0 Nils? The father and the man whose kid looks up to and thinks, fuck, what a great dad.
He would make the decision of starting.
Do you wait a couple of weeks?
No.
If you know that he would start, the following question I would have for you then is, are you going to start today and actually back yourself and make a change?
Yes.
Why not say no?
No, because, like I said before, I can't put this up, because then it will turn into more weeks, more weeks. I'll just find myself at the same spot next year, probably.
And then I'll just shoot for the investment, basically.
How would you do that?
I'll just say, okay, well, if you want to take the step and you want to actually back yourself and make a change, are you ready to do that now? And we can do it together, side by side, and I'll pick you up when you fall down, and I'll be here for you every single step of the way.
Okay.
Okay. Would you prefer to use Swish or Klarna?
Yeah. I can't pay it in full now, so Klarna.
Use free Klarna. See how I do it. I'm scared that my laptop's gonna die and then this isn't gonna record. So
Oh yeah.